Hello, this is Everyday Joe out here in my garage working on some rusted bolts. I have some bolts that are rusted on and a panel that is bent on a tractor that I'm using. And so I bought a replacement panel, but I can't put it in place yet until I remove these rusted bolts. Let's take a look. As you can see, somebody bent this panel by running into an object, maybe like a tree or a curb, and then it is basically just a series of bolts that I have to take off. These bolts, however, down here are rusted, and so I had a hard time removing them as the edges would round when I used the appropriate sized wrench. What I bought to correct the system was this Thinkpro set from Amazon. I think it was like $32 or something. I ended up with about twice as many bits as I would have if I got it at Harbor Freight or at Lowe's. Some of the bits, as they've come off, let's see if I can show you here one. You can see it's totally rounded there, and it actually cut it off from the collar that was embedded in here. Let's see if we can see that. So this was all one piece, like a flange bolt, and it rusted so bad it all broke apart. And so I've had a hard time obviously removing those. It was where the battery terminal sits, and it rusted to that wall, so I've got to sand that wall down and paint it. And I think I'm going to put a rubberized coating on it so it's less likely to get some kind of contact issue. But I've got a new panel to replace this whole panel over there. So let's see what we can do here about putting this together. When you put on the specialized bolts, it's easiest, I found, as I read suggestions of people when they used it, to then pound this in with a hammer to seat it so that when it spins, it's actually engaging. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's actually engaging the bolt. I've got to put the camera down now, but I've got to use a set of vice grips on the back edge to hold the nut on the other end that's also rusted and rounded, so that then I can turn and remove these, and then we'll take the panel off. And as you can see here, I've got that removed, but again, this bolt separated as well from the head of it, having the vice grips on the back side. You can see the strip bolt there. I can remove these vice grips here with one hand. 1 second. And that bolt was really chewed up there. One side was kind of flat, the other side kind of totally rusted on there. So I was able to use the vice grips to hold that. Now that part is loose. Now to do this other side, make sure to wear a pair of ear protection if you use an impact wrench, because it does make quite a bit of noise, particularly underneath this wheel well. Well, you like to think everything goes exactly as planned, but that's not the case here. We were not able with the Irwin vice grips to hold on to the bolt. I got some Milwaukee, supposed to be like a special torque fit to hold the bolt to keep it from spinning. Still kept spinning. So I ended up getting a drill and drilling out the middle of the bolt, and then it came right off. Now we have rusted panel out, Now we just got to clean up this surface rust and repaint and put in a new panel. So these Thinkpro bits worked really well. They gripped the entire time. The biggest complication was the interface on the other side, where there were some of these bolts. Some of them got stripped. Some of them you could hold with vice grips. Others, no matter what vice grips you got, you couldn't make any headway. So, you know, there's always other options. You know, I started everything at first with some WD-40, sprayed all of them, couldn't get any of them to move, then everything stripped. Then I got the Thinkpro, then I got the drill. I have to be careful with everything here. Try to stay away from grinders. That is the gas tank right above. So trying to do everything in a flame-free fashion as much as one can. Thank you.